Hello and welcome to Almost 30 Podcast. My name is Chris Williams, and I'm so glad you guys are here, truly, madly, deeply. We just had such a good interview with my friend Tara Schuster, and I just wanted to record the intro right after because I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so excited. I'm feeling motivated to start journaling again. And I figured we'd get this episode out earlier in the year because the approach that she takes to self help and healing and growth through journaling and all the science backed ways journaling can change your life, I think will be really helpful this year. So, Tara has taught thousands how to reparent themselves through practical, joyful rituals for mental health, from sold out workshops to her super popular Substack to her first two books, By the Fucking Lilies and Glow in the Fucking Dark. She now has a new book, This Journal Fucking Works. So, my girl loves a curse. And if that bothered you, I'm so sorry. But in this conversation, it was so much fun because we talked a lot about journaling and why it's so impactful and some of the experiences we've had with journaling, just really honest and authentic about, some of our struggles, hitting rock bottom, what really changed and shifted her life about journaling. We talk about the science of journaling. What about our brain or our experience makes journaling so powerful for us? We also talked about parts work. We talked about internal family systems, which is a tool you guys know I use and love. We talked about her abusive relationship, what that was like, and what was the moment where she knew she had to leave. We also talked about dating and relationships, our experiences in dating and relationships, which wasn't a topic that I was planning to talk about, but I think we both feel passionately that in the world of dating, there is such negativity and there's such a pessimistic belief of dating that we really wanted to talk about shifting that narrative and really claiming your desire for love in life and really claiming your desire to be seen and held in authentic relationships. So this conversation is going to feel really helpful and actionable and also really heartfelt. You're going to get to hear from two friends who spent a lot of time together this summer hiking the El Camino at a retreat, um, opening up really vulnerably. My hope is that you're able to take things that are really supportive of you for this year. So I hope you enjoy this one. This will be one to send to a friend, definitely to have a chat about. And I want to thank Tara for joining us in conversation. You can find her book, This Journal Fucking Works, available for you wherever books are sold. And it's a different way to approach journaling. So it's not one size fits all. It's not like just blank paper. She has so much detail and thoughtfulness. She's been spending 15 years journaling to be able to figure this out. And you can also find more about her on her website, taraschuster.com. It's TARASCHUSTER.com. Okay. Thank you for joining Almost 30 Podcast. Thank you for always being a support for us in our lives. I'm excited about this year. If you want more from me, you can go to itskrista.com. It's ITSKRISTA, or it's Krista on Instagram. I'm available for you, and I will see you soon. I am so glad you're here because if you're available, I want to process our week together in the
Yes.
Camino. So
Yes, please.
I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast, but a few months ago, we both attended an internal family systems retreat.
Yes.
Wherein we, in the morning, would do IFS work. We would learn about IFS with Dick Schwartz and the team. And then in the afternoon would hike the El Camino in Spain. And so this is a week-long retreat with hiking in the afternoon, IFS work in the morning. And for anyone listening, internal family systems is a psychotherapy technique founded by Dick Schwartz. It's really the concept of parts and seeing your emotions and feelings and experiences in a way of relating them to parts, so that we can process them to find more wholeness and more self energy. And I think for me, when I first heard about it, I was like, okay, cool. Each year, I always want to do something that supports my growth, my healing, me as a teacher. So I was like, this sounds like a no-brainer because IFS has been the number one tool that's changed my life, bar none. And it's what I use so much with my clients. I will say on that retreat, when I got done with that retreat, I think that was, and this is no shade to Dick, no shade to IFS, true king. It still makes me emotional thinking about how incredible he is in the team. Was maybe one of the worst weeks of my year.
Yeah. I'm curious. I have my own reasons why, and I felt very similarly, but why for you was it one of the worst?
I was struggling so much.
Yeah.
I was in between two really big pushes for my year, of my big retreats and Europe travel and all this stuff. And I think for me, working through so many parts at one time and being in a process where we're in a group of people in this room or in these rooms, and people would be bringing up very deep, intense things, and I would be processing through deep, intense things. And when we're thinking about every single thought as a part,
Yeah.
I almost felt insane. And I almost felt I was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I think it was just such a mirror for me of how much work there was to do. And I felt like I had so much work to do. I was so overwhelmed. And I think the loudest voice for me was the part of me that was so online, was that I have to be liked by everyone, and I have to prioritize being liked and being connected to and being charming over everything else. And so I was really doing my best to not have that part be running the show and taking over my ability to heal. And so I was fighting with her the whole time. And then I was trying to heal and I was trying to process. And then I was in group with people. It just felt like so much. And I think it exacerbated a lot for me. And I found myself after it at my lowest, I think, of the year.
Wow.
What was your experience?
I mean, similar, but for much more petty reasons. Like
yours honestly. No, but if you would have heard my judgment thoughts.
I mean, yours are like deep and beautiful thoughts. Mine are like, I can't stand disorganization.
Girl.
Like, so you and I both hold retreats. When I do a retreat, I feel like I'm about to be so shady. But when I do a retreat, I am insane about every single detail. I want to be thoughtful. I want like nobody's waiting a weird amount of time. You know where your bag is, etc. This retreat, there was like no order. It was chaos, but it was chaos on the Camino, which means you're going to a different hotel every single night. You're hiking miles and miles and miles, but you don't have a map. So there were some times where I was legitimately on the Camino. If I was alone, I'd be like, where the fuck am I? And will anyone find me?
Totally.
Like, I'm literally alone. I don't know anything. I don't speak Spanish. I don't have GPS. Like, what is going on? And so I think the amazing part is that Dick Schwartz is the real deal.
Real deal.
Incredible teacher. I had a full-on mental breakdown on the Camino, and he helped me through it. So like, oh my God, getting IFS therapy from the man. I spent a lot of time with his wife, Jean.
Angel.
Who is thebomb.com.
She's cool.
I'm like, will you be my mom, please?
Totally.
You are so smart, so sage, so beautiful. Also, leader of the pack, like always lapping everyone. All of those things are amazing. Meeting you was amazing. I too had similar feelings of like, I found myself wanting to be a popular girl.
Oh.
And then sad that was even happening. It really was. I mean, am I wrong or was it going on?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, thinking about your day. So if a normal person that's listening is thinking about your day, when you have it magnified to you that every single thought that you're having is a part. So I'm like, oh, that was a stupid statement that someone said. And then I'm thinking, oh, that's a part of me thinks that they're stupid. And you know, and then you go on the journey and I just was like, geez, oh, Pete. And I wanted to be popular. I wanted to be liked. But then I was purposely holding myself back from that because I was like, I do this all the time where that part wins and then I'm not healing for myself.
Totally.
You know, like I'm not actually, what do I need to learn here? What do I need to like focus on that's related to just me instead of like everybody needs to like me?
Agreed. I mean, I felt like 11-year-old me who was like chubby and nerdy and wore glasses in middle school, like wanting the like cool kids to like me. And I would feel that part come up and then I'd get really judgmental. What's wrong with you? How are we still here again? We're here to learn. We're on the fucking Camino, dude. Like, can't you be spiritual? So there was a lot of self-judgment. Then I really do have a petty part of me that if things aren't up to my standards, my expectations of organization, because I think I go out of my way to try to make people feel really thought of, cared for with my clients on these retreats, right? And so when it's not done for me, I actually get kind of enraged. And then it was expensive. So I was like, wait. Hold on a second. I'm spending like my vacation money. This isn't feeling very vacation-y, and I'm having a mental breakdown about all these different parts of me. So I actually haven't fully processed it yet.
I know.
Because there were some beautiful things. And obviously being on the Camino is a totally spiritual experience. And yet I would just say it was a very complicated set of feelings I had. And I'm not sure what it all means yet.
I know. I think the beautiful thing I got from it was the relationships with people.
Yeah.
I think that always happens at retreats. You kind of connect with people. I became, like you said, more solidified in the work that I do and how I hold containers and move spaces. I'm able to I was really proud of that. And I think it really did show me, I think the most tender thing was on the last night when people were thanking Dick for the work. And he just is fully, you know, not taking credit for it. He's just fully there in service. It was crazy. Almost everybody in the room had built businesses off of his work,
Oh, yeah.
had monetized his work,
Yes.
had been making a lot of money from his work. And this man does not care. He is please use this tool. He goes to prisons, he goes to schools, he's at hospitals. He's please use this tool because it helps. And that for me was the biggest thing that made me so emotional, where I was bawling to him because I was I pray that I can be someone that is that egoless.
Yeah.
To really be I am truly here for people to heal. And I do my best, but I'm and so seeing someone that was truly in integrity actually healed me, because I think in the space of personal growth, self-help, development, spirituality, you can really see people that are not in alignment with their work. And seeing that was so refreshing to me.
There's so many charlatan-esque people who it's so obvious they're just, you go to a webinar and then it's an upsell to this thing, which is then an upsell to this other thing. Then join my container of Dick's not like that literally at all. He just wants people to lead a better life, to be more themselves, to not have all these different parts of themselves that are constantly at war so they get no peace. And when you talk to him, it's just so obvious. So I agree. He really is an inspirational in just who he is, the humility, the constant learning. And there are a few other people, I don't know, you spent some time with Tamala Floyd, the IFS teacher.
She's so cool.
I want to collaborate with
She's
her.
Cool.
There were so many people who are wow, you're the real deal.
Totally.
So again, there were high highs, low lows.
Yeah, and I think my intention for us to process that a little bit for the audience, isn't to be bitching, but is just to be honest, because I think I struggle with being a public figure and having an audience and wanting to always be honest, but also there's a lot of people involved.
Yeah.
There's people that ran the retreat. There's the IFS people. So it's hard because, you don't want to hurt people's feelings or burn bridges or anything like that. But I think I want people to know that not everything that we do is glamorous or amazing or good. You always get what you need in the medicine. I got a lot of medicine that trip, but it's just not always easy, especially too when you are really committed to doing the work. And you've been committed to doing the work. You've been someone that's been writing about the work and really struggled. And so when you are committed to doing the work, there is the rock bottom weeks. There is the really challenging times. There are the times when you're really judging and criticizing yourself. And it's not always pretty. It's not always we were El Camino, this is great. It was I am having a mental war with myself right now. Yeah,
I actually felt I had to talk authentically about the experience. So I wrote a whole newsletter about my popular girl, my inner popular girl, making an appearance and how that was very difficult for me, because I really don't want people to think, because I got so many DMs. Oh my God, the Camino is my life stream. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. You must be having the best time. And I want to say, yes, I am. And I feel this part of me that wants to be the popular girl. I feel slightly rejected at times. I also feel why do I care? I just wanted people to know that it was a lot more complicated than, look at my fabulous life. I'm on the Camino with Dick Schwartz and Martha Beck. And I really wanted to be honest about it. And to your point, no knock to the organizers. They had an insane job. Move 50 people down the Camino. It's not even a knock on them. It's just, that was a very hard endeavor to take on. And I think it would be hard for anybody to do it.
What did you process in the newsletter? What did you end up sharing to your audience?
This is really real. I haven't talked to you about this, but we were hiking one day, and I was hiking with a woman and talking to her and asking her questions. And she was just excuse me, I really just want to do this alone. And I was ooh, ouch, hurt. Okay. But I'm okay, let her let her go. Totally. I understand that. I might feel similarly. But then she like walked to another person and started laughing with her like immediately. And I can feel all the emotions coming up from right now of just, I was like, felt so rejected. So like, am I not cool enough? Like, what did I do wrong? And it really like spun me out. And so I wrote about how I really do have this little girl part who wants to be accepted, wants to be liked, is looking for friends, who can feel like, I felt like this range of emotions, like rage at her, deep hurt, and then embarrassment. And then that part of me just says, I want to be alone. Nobody talk to me. I want to be alone. Then I self-isolate. And this was all happening on this thing that was supposed to be so beautiful. And I'm like, wait, you're going to reject a person on, we're with Dick Schwartz on the IFS Camino. Like, this is really happening.
You're like, get back here, you bitch. Walk with me.
Hold my hand.
Yeah, you're like, walk with me. You're not gonna abandon me.
Nobody abandons me. Yeah. So, so I felt like, and then I felt embarrassed about myself. Like, why do I care so much? So it was like 50 different parts at once. And what I came to realize was, you know what? Bless and release. This isn't about me. It was never about me. Even when I was 11, it really wasn't about me. And it's okay. I have enough space within me. I have enough self-energy that this one thing doesn't have to completely ruin the day for me. But it took me a minute, and I just wanted to take my readers with me on that journey of like, it's not that I don't get tripped up all the time. I certainly do. It's that I have more tools, resources, space within me to get back on track and not take it so personally. But I still did take it personally.
Of course.
Just a little.
You know what's funny is I was walking with someone. Me and another woman were walking, and we had one of our other friends, and you know these women, but I just want to, and they were walking behind us. And then after like maybe an hour or something, the woman that was walking behind us joined me and the friend. So it was the three of us walking. And she's like, I literally just had a whole entire like healing because I was imagining you guys talking about me and making fun of me and laughing at me. And like this entire time, I had this part of me that thought you guys were abandoning me and making fun of me and all these things. She's like, and then this little girl part of me that had been made fun of when she was in middle school came out and was like, they're making, like it. And me and this person were just talking about dating or something like that. And I'm like, it just really showed me the mind.
I mean,
you even walking by yourself, your mind is having this entire experience of these memories and these thoughts and these stories, and her mind is having that too. And my mind, so much of it was like, I'm judging this person. Why am I judging them? Can I stop judging them? What's wrong with you? Just, it was like a war with our minds. And, I felt like so beyond that at that point to have that. And it showed me so much of how much I judge. My judger was so present. God, I mean and judging is not fun.
No, it's painful.
Painful. I think maybe when I was less awakened, judging felt good. Where I was like, I kind of was unaware of it. And I was like, yeah, they freaking losers, like better than them. And I'd be like, yeah, that's right. They're not cool and you're cool. But I was like, dude, judging now is like hurts every part of me.
It hurts your soul.
It hurts my soul.
It feels bad. And I agree. Like the more we like process it, the thing I felt very disappointed in myself.
Yeah, girl.
For how judgmental I was being towards other people. And the problem with judging is it's such an isolator. It just makes you feel alone, isolated in this weird bubble, disconnected from other people. And, there's a difference between discernment and judgment, right? Like I can discern that, okay, maybe that's not my person and not who I want to spend time with, but I don't need to be like, and they suck. Like there's something like there was someone on the trip who obviously needed a lot of like attention. And I was going
to— There always is, baby.
I was going to murder her.
There always is.
I was at like a 10 out of 10 annoyance. Like I needed to do IFS work on that part of me. And that's something for me to still investigate, because the thing is, she was having a jolly old time. I was in misery because I was judging her. That's not right. Like I want to release that just because it sucks for me.
You know, some days I just want my nutrition to actually work for me. No confusing labels, no guesswork, no wasted supplements. That's why I started using Kachava. I'm so excited to tell you about them. It's an all-in-one plant-based nutrition shake packed with clean, whole ingredients, no fillers, no artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners. 2 scoops, that's it. Gives you 25 grams of protein, fiber, vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, and probiotics, helping with your energy and digestion, strength, metabolism, cognition, and immunity. Mint chocolate is probably my favorite. I blend it with a banana, ice, a dash of peanut butter, and some milk. Oh my gosh, it is so delicious. I also love their chocolate flavor and their strawberry flavor. Do what you will. It's so delicious. They have nailed the flavor at Kachava. A superfood packed shake in under a minute that actually tastes amazing. Plus, with 6 flavors to choose from, it really never gets boring. Kachava makes it simple to fuel your body without overthinking it. Rewild your nutrition at kachava.com and use the code almost30. New customers get $20 off an order of 2 bags or more now through the 31st. That's Kachava, KACHAVA.com. Code is almost30.
Yeah, that person I know you're talking about. It's so fun. It's so funny too. So you're that person that wants the energy and the attention of a group. You know, that always happens in a group. There's always one person that always wants the energy and the attention and the validation. It's funny because reflecting now, that person was so entertaining to me. Like literally, I was like, I know what's happening. This is like, but that person also, I could tell didn't like me.
Yeah.
But was trying to talk to me and get validation. So it was a very weird dynamic that was going on where I'm like, you don't like me. Why are you trying to talk to me?
Yeah.
I'm like, so it was a very interesting thing. I think mine was more like that person was obvious, but I kind of was literally finally able to see that little part of them. Mine was just me in so much pain with myself that I felt so rejected, and I felt like no one liked me because I had told my part to sit down. That was like the charming part. And the one that's like, you know, like, and I just was like, yeah, no one likes you. This is what's going to happen. Everyone thinks you're a loser. Everyone thinks you're a bitch. No one's talking to you. Like everyone's laughing, you know, like that whole thing. And it's interesting, those little dynamics that come up when you have those situations. And it made me also honor, and I probably think you did too, the women that come to my retreats, because it's so scary.
Oh, it was in some ways the best possible thing.
Yes.
Because you had your retreat right after it, and then I had my retreat like 3 weeks later. I had so much more respect, compassion, understanding. Like I want to just make their lives easy. I honestly think, you know, I believe in like guides, like things are put in your path to guide you or to show you a different way. The whole trip was a guide for what to do on my own retreat. What container did I want to build? You know? And I just want to say something. You were the only reason I ate dinner that entire trip. Because I wasn't going to like figure out how to eat at night.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in this weird social space where I felt like I'm the 11-year-old outcast.
Totally.
Like, I don't know.
Totally.
And then you like night 2 or something were like, hey, want to come have dinner with us? And then I was like, oh my God, yes, actually. And I really liked you off the bat. So I was like inclined to just feel safe and comfortable. So just so you know, your impact on me was actually quite profound and one of the more positive things on the trip.
Yeah, I'll never forget our bus ride talking, and it'll lead us into the book. But just in saying that, that's one thing I'm going to do is be a leader and just like facilitate things. And that's what I felt like. I don't know what's going on. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what we're eating. I'm like, everyone's going to follow me this way. And I think just on the retreat piece, I had my retreat the next week. I had a few days in between with a friend, thank dear Lord, so I could recalibrate with her. But I came to my retreat, and when they came, I was like the nicest. I was like, I'm so proud of you for coming, going outside your comfort zone. Like our whole beginning circle, I was like, you guys might have little girls that are scared right now. It's okay. Like I was on just like a different tip because I recognized how much courage it takes to go outside your comfort zone. And you know what's funny in our world, it's like courage. Thinking of the word courage, we think of quitting your job, doing big things, jumping out of a plane. It's like, no, it is like courage to show up to a place where you don't know anybody.
Oh, And like the most extreme courage, because it's all of our social, I could be rejected. Are they going to like me? What are we going to talk about? Those kinds of things that even at like just a casual party make me really nervous. Now imagine traveling to Europe, or mine was in Santa Fe, to be with a group of people you do not know. It takes actual courage to step up. And I think the one nice thing is it also gives you an opportunity to be whatever version of yourself you want to be. So it's like two sides. I, unfortunately, on the IFS, in some ways went to my more scared parts. I don't know if I wish, if I were to do it again, I hope in a future version of myself, an evolved version of myself, I can be a little bit more me and care a little less. But it made me so proud of everyone who came to my retreat, because they showed up pretty much themselves and stepped out to make friends, which courage. I mean, it really does take courage.
And the moment, we had so many moments of connection, but on the bus, like I'll just never forget. It was like one of those moments. Like I remember the scene. I remember it was like us going from one spot to the other, and you were talking about your book, and you were talking about journaling. And I meet a lot of people that write a lot of books, and sometimes it's more dropped in when they're talking about it, and sometimes it's not. Even people with me, they're like, "Oh, I loved your book." I'm like, "Thanks, it's a really good book," but I don't sometimes like have the depth of excitement and truth and belief in it. And you just like were telling me about it and how it's changed your life and how important these tools are and your story. And I was like, this is a woman who is truly doing this because it's changed her and because it's worked for her. And it's about journaling, and it inspired me to start journaling again. So walk me through the process, because you've written a few books.
Yeah.
And By the Fucking Lilies.
Yeah.
Glow in the Fucking Dark.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Those are my two first books.
Book. And then we have this book now. So walk me through the first, I want to talk about the new book, but walk me through actually the first two books and kind of your journey to writing those. Because a lot of people have maybe read those, but if not, I want them to get them too.
Yeah. So, okay, I am a self-help author, which is like maybe the most unexpected career that I could ever take. I was an executive at Comedy Central, where I ran shows like Key and Peele.
So baller.
I started as an intern on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. My whole life was comedy. I'm going to be like the queen of TV. That was the vibe. That's what I was going for. Except I was dying inside. I had extreme depression and anxiety. I was dealing with suicidal ideation. I was really, really good at work, but terrible at life. But because I'm like an overachiever to the max, nobody at work had any clue that I was such a mess. And the reason I was such a mess is I'd grown up in a house where things came to die. It was neglectful, psychologically abusive. The central message I took from my childhood was, I'm worthless. There's something inherently wrong with me. Nobody cares about me. That's the core of my being. And so that really forced me to look for external validation, right? Like take all the APs in high school, get into the good fancy college, get the best job, not just the best job, be the youngest executive at Comedy Central ever, like max. It stressed me out. And I never dealt with these soul level wounds. So on my 25th birthday, I drunk dialed my therapist, threatened to hurt myself, and had no recollection of doing so. Like the only reason I found out was the next morning I listened to voicemails from my therapist looking for me. And that was the first time I took it really seriously. I was like, oh my God, if I don't save my life, there's just not going to be much more of a life for me. And I actually feel some emotion coming up because I talk about these things all the time, but then I kind of forget like, oh, that actually like happened.
Totally. It's making you emotional.
Yeah. And so that next morning I just said, I'm going to save my life. I didn't have parents in the sense that I wasn't parented. I had food on the table, yes, but no unconditional love, no support. And I just decided I'm going to treat this like a work project because millennial that I am, I love a Google Doc. Just love a Google Doc.
You're like, I could feel, but I'd rather be here. You're
Give
like,
me a
there's
list.
emotion coming up. You're like, but my fingers want to type.
Yeah, I love a list.
Yes.
And so I just decided I'm going to list every single thing I don't know about being a human. What are values? What is love? What are vegetables? Is working out a thing? Like truly the most basic things. And I attacked it for 5 years.
Wow.
For 5 years, I worked on this Google Doc. I was relentless. Relentless is sort of, I think, should be my middle name.
Yeah, honestly.
For better or for worse, relentless.
That's your real personal brand book. You're like, everyone be relentless.
Actually, I don't hate that.
With me now, relentless. Get a relentless tattoo.
As I think about it, I'm like, that's the word.
I mean, relentless or like, this little 5 years is so insane. It's so baller. It's insane to be like not stop doing that. Like people can't even like meditate for 3 days.
Yeah. I mean, it was a deep sense of urgency because people ask like, how did you have the wherewithal not to just give up? And I'm like, because I thought I was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was this or death.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I did it. And at the end of 5 years, I felt like a completely different person. I felt stable for the first time in my life. And I knew I was worthwhile no matter what. That it really, nobody else, like I held my worth. And that's, so this whole time I'd been writing this Google Doc. That's
so really
when I
fast
realized.
on the Google Doc.
Yeah.
You were asking the questions. How were you getting the answers? And was it the implementation of the answers that was helping you become better?
Yes.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I didn't really know about self-help as a genre because that would have sped things up quite a bit. But
it's kind of good you didn't.
It's like this interesting thing where I think I had an aversion to self-help.
Yeah.
Where I was like, that's cheesy. I don't need that. So I mostly listened to like science podcasts, read papers. The major thing I did was read memoir as if they were like my parents.
Love that.
So I read a lot of Nora Ephron, for example, who kind of taught me about how to take care of myself, but how to do this whole thing with humor. The things were going to be messed up, but at least I could be humorous about it. Steve Martin, his memoir, Born Standing Up, is all about not being born with inherent talent and needing to learn it and that being a good thing. That he says because he wasn't born super talented, it forced him to be imaginative and creative. And I never thought about that the things that I thought of my weaknesses might actually be my strengths. Like I was so humiliated by my childhood. Like everybody's going to judge me. Everyone's going to think I'm a loser because my parents are so messed up and I'm so messed up. I never ever considered, actually, maybe there are a lot of other people like me and this will be the thing to connect me to them. You know, it wasn't until I started reading these books that I realized every story ends very differently and you get to shape the narrative of what happened to you. If you can own it, you can change it. So the Google Doc had all the research I was doing, my like stupid stuff. Like I went to an Equinox and in between when they were trying to sell me their like wildly expensive personal training, they told me to drink more water. Now that was the first time I had heard that water was a thing, truly, really. And so I would write down like 3.
You're like, guys, is water happening?
Guys, are we doing water right now?
Honestly. You're like at the water cooler, you're like, look at us doing water.
So advanced. This is the next level. But like it truly was. I hadn't known, maybe a big part of why I have these constant migraines is because I'm literally just not drinking water and only drinking alcohol all of the time. Let me experiment. And so I'd run an experiment. What would happen this week if I drank 3 of these swell bottles of water every single day? So I did that, wrote down the results in the Google Doc, and I'm like, weird, feeling better. But what I didn't realize I was doing was I was like witness to a process. And because I was taking notes on the variables, like something as silly as water, I actually could see the results and what was different. And so the Google Doc really was, here's a hypothesis. People say drinking water will make me feel better. Will it? And then every day taking notes and then reflecting back, okay, I'd like water. Things that didn't happen were like Someone said you should wake up at 5 a.m. I tried it. I'm like, well, that was hell. Like the only thing that should be awake at 5 a.m. are like bats and babies. I'm not doing that again.
Who's the guy that's the 5 a.m. guy on this?
I actually like his book a lot. Hal Elrod? Is that it?
Hal Elrod, but then is it David Goggins or like the actor? Who's the actor that's short? It's like Donnie. He's got a brother, Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like 45.
There are so many people and I bless to them.
Bless
I'm
them.
so happy for them. And that experiment didn't go my way. And so it wasn't something I included as like my life manual. So the whole book, my first book, Buy Yourself the Fucking Lilies, came from that Google document. And particularly, I would go to Trader Joe's and I would see all the pretty flowers, you know, the peonies and the lilies and their weird bucket of trash water. And I'd be like, oh my God, those lilies are so pretty. Oh my God, they just like unfold and then they have a scent and then they fill the room with a scent. And I'd be so elegant and chic if I just had those lilies, but no, they're too expensive. Like I can't afford $7.99 lilies. If I buy those, it's going to ruin my life. It's going to like take me down a path of irresponsibility and decay and decadence and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not worth it. And then they'll just die. And one day I was witnessing, so I'd write about it. So it was like really on my mind. And then one day I was at Trader Joe's. I'm like, wait, what? Why am I freaking out about these lilies? This is like under $8. I really, really want them. I bet you it's going to make my life slightly better. And so I like grabbed the lilies and ran to the register because I thought I might like talk myself out of it and got the hell out of there.
You must check out now.
Yeah. No, I'm like,
how are you?
go.
You're like, no, please take my card.
Please bag them now.
Yana's like, put them in the bag.
Yeah.
I've got to go.
Have to leave now.
Nothing feels better than a little wardrobe glow. Let's be real. And Revolve is my go-to. Krista and I are Revolve girlies, really for everything from everyday outfits to big nights out. Right now, I'm shopping for a mix of elevated basics just to start the year off right and statement pieces for upcoming events that I have. A wedding, I have an event, we have some recording days coming up. And I just feel like Revolve makes it so easy to find your vibe with over 1,200 brands at 100,000 styles, new arrivals daily, inclusive sizing, and curated edits for every occasion. It's just incredible. Despite the amount of options, I'm never overwhelmed because they make it so easy to navigate the website. I just picked up this cozy yet like really chic blazer from Lovers and Friends. I really love that brand, and paired it with some classic A Goldie jeans for a night out. It was like very me, but also elevated. It felt effortless. The recommended for you section, total game changer. So they get to know you for finding pieces that actually fit my style. I've also been eyeing a few dresses from Free People, which are just like a really effortless, fun brand, and Amanda Uprichard for upcoming weddings. I also like Solace London for upcoming weddings as well. It's nice. I feel confident. It's why I keep coming back. Plus, one of my favorite parts, fast 2-day shipping and easy returns makes the shopping completely stress-free. So whether it's a weekend away, a big night out, or just a much-needed wardrobe refresh, your dream wardrobe is just one click away. Head to revolve.com/A30pod, shop my edit, and take 15% off your first order with code A30pod. Fast 2-day shipping, easy returns. It's literally the only place you need to shop. That's revolve.com/A30pod. You can shop my favorites and get 15% off your first order with code A30pod. Offer available for a limited time, so happy shopping.
There's so much that I'm going to pick apart a little bit, but the first is the the moment with your therapist where you had drunk dialed them and then they called you back on the voicemail. And I was just thinking back to, some of the most pivotal moments in my life when I was able to have myself reflected by someone. One of my best friends, Jen, who I lived with for, I think 6 years or something in Chicago. I'll never forget one time I was just like ripping to her. I was just like, I'm this, I'm that. And I was just talking shit about myself. I was like, I'm not enough, or I'm not pretty enough or successful enough, or I was just all this stuff. And she just looked at me and she's like, God, it really hurts me to hear how hard you are on yourself. And it was just like, whoa, like I didn't even know, like I was unconscious to the loop and the thought and seeing how painful it was for someone that loved me to hear me talking about myself for 30 seconds and thinking about what it must be like to be with that person all day long. And then another time when I stopped drinking when I was like 26 or something, maybe 24. And I had been out the night before at the club. That was a club. I was at the club or nowhere, baby. I was doing my thing at the club. And my friend saw me. She goes, "Do you remember seeing me last night?" And I go, "No." And she goes, and if you're listening on the podcast, it was a look of despair and disgust at the same time. And it was something about it where I was like, that isn't good.
Yeah.
And I need to change. And I think it's so beautiful, the story with your therapist, because it really gives you the opportunity to hear reflected back to you the gravity of where you were.
I would not have clocked it otherwise.
Yep.
It took someone else. She was this like European woman who normally wore like a little kerchief and had a cup of tea, very placid. So to hear her on my voicemail sounding concerned, she left multiple voicemail trying to find me. I mean, she recommended I either go with a friend or go to a hospital. And when you hear that, I was blown away. I thought I had no idea that I was in this bad of shape. Hearing the fear in her voice makes me super scared. And it was like I couldn't look at the world the same way ever again. I knew something has to change.
Mm-hmm. I also loved too, this is shifting gears a little bit, but in your process with the Google document, bearing witness to yourself and the changes you were experiencing and going through, and giving each enough space to feel the difference of it.
Mm.
And I think the reason why I'm double clicking on this is because there's so many women of our audience that are health and wellness, spirituality, doing a lot of different things, myself 100% included, where if someone was to say to me, "Oh, you know, your skin looks great today," or maybe one day I have more energy than the other day. I have a list of 50 variables it could be.
Right.
The moon, my sleep, the supplement, whatever. And I think what I love about that is like you actually were able to really take space to be like, what works for me?
Yeah.
This week is water. We're going to drink more water. We're going to really see what works for me. And then you can create a routine or schedule or flow that's like truthful to you. And it's like, instead of doing what everyone says you to do, what everyone suggests for you to do, what Instagram's telling you to do, what your favorite influencer's telling you to do, or what they're doing, you're like, I'm going to actually truly see what works for me. And that's actually inspiring me in this moment of like, I've been in this space for a while. I've kind of have a lot of different things that I do, like to truly optimize my life. It would behoove me to take time to be more diligent now at this point, because there's a lot of different things that I do, to go back to fine tooth combing of like what actually works and has impact.
So in my new book, This Journal Fucking Works, one of my main journaling techniques that I use, have you ever done morning pages?
No, everyone has. I was about to lie and be like, yeah, of course.
I'm glad you're honest.
Literally, the temptation to lie was like, no, I haven't.
Okay, so morning pages.
I'm too cool.
Developed by Julia Cameron in her seminal creativity book, The Artist's Way, which, by the way, one of my favorite books.
Yeah,
of all
one of
time.
the greatest books.
Wonderful. So she came up with this journaling technique where every single morning you wake up and before you do anything, before you get coffee, before you read your emails, you write 3 pages of just like word vomit of what's in your soul. Like just get it out on the page. The idea being that you can outrun your inner censors, you can get more in touch with your actual self. I've evolved it and I call it DMing with your soul, which is you have this unique moment to get those secret little sneaky messages from deep down, because most of us know what is up. Most of us actually, we feel like I've lost touch, or in my case, I thought I was so messed up in my childhood that I couldn't even have a self. Like maybe myself never existed, but if it did, it got so screwed up that I would never be able to get back in touch. DMing with your soul, you pretty quickly realize, whoa, I have a voice. It's worth paying attention to. I need to really get in touch, but there is a way. And so one of the main things I do in this evolution is I have people on a piece of paper write tracking, the word tracking, and then the word noticing right under it. So exactly to your point, because we try so many things, but we actually don't take good notes on what variable is working and what one isn't. And how would you know? Like even with a medication or something, like how would you know if it was helping you or not if you weren't specifically paying attention? So on the tracking, I might write something like, I take Wellbutrin. So when I first started taking Wellbutrin, and then
That's an antidepressant?
yeah. Although honestly, I don't. It's like it's an antidepressant, but I don't know like what class of thing it is. But I would then underneath of it, I am noticing like nothing today. No, I don't see any change. Maybe 1 weekend, like, a little lift, or maybe just nothing. I don't think this is working for me. You could really use it with anything. Breaking up with an ex, you could leaving so and so. Horrible, terrible, worst day of my life. I did this for months actually with one ex who was really like quite abusive. And it was, it began with, this was the worst decision I ever made. I miss him so much. Why did I do this? Oh no, I'll always be alone. No one's ever going to love me, da 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 da. And 6 months later, oh my God, how did I not do that sooner? I feel so free. And then I can see my own trajectory of, when I make a choice that I feel like is probably a good idea, what were the results? And when I make a choice that I feel like isn't the right idea, right? Because sometimes I still do stuff that I know ain't great. If I'm tracking, I'm actually going to notice what the result was. So really quick hack for anybody who's introducing something new into their life, journal, do a short journaling practice and just notice and track.
It's funny because I'm so grateful we're talking about this because I was with my dad. My dad's sick. He has Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And, I was with him a few weeks ago. And with grief of a parent that's sick in that way, there's a few parts that come online for me. And I'm going to make this story make sense to what we're talking about. There's a part that's like the spiritual part that's like his soul chose this. This is his path. And then there's a part that's like, it's fine. It's all good. And then, there's also a part of me that's like very like, he did this to himself. He doesn't eat well. He doesn't take care of himself, all that kind of stuff. And that part is very much like, if only he was tracking his food. If only he was tracking that when he eats gluten, it gets worse and all this kind of stuff. And so I'm like hyper vigilant about other people tracking and other people getting curious about what's impacting them. Even my family was here last weekend and, they were like doing a lot of stuff. And then they were like, I don't feel good. And I'm like, why aren't you like paying attention? So now I'm noticing a part of me that's wanting to pay attention for myself and like track what is working and what's not, whether it's health and wellness or whether it's even being around people. Could be something.
It could be literally anything. The key is to be a little experimental and investigative about yourself. And it's not super high stakes. Like I also try to come at things with a little bit of humor, although I'm not being my funniest today. But
you are. You're being mega funny.
I really try to say, on the one hand, the things that I go through are so important and oh my God. And then the other, like, who cares? Like, I'm literally not going to remember most of this in a month. It's all going to be okay. So it's to find that middle ground of I take myself seriously. I take my healing seriously. I take how I show up for other people seriously. And I don't take like my ego that seriously or like who it is that I am, that I'm, showing to other people. But in terms of just, I really don't want to suffer. And I really, really, really don't want other people to suffer unnecessarily either. And I think there are such easy tools, low-hanging fruit that don't require this complicated protocol of this sauna and this supplement followed by this therapy. I'm like, do you have a pen and paper? Because this will work. There's like enough science behind that I kind of promise this will work, like as close as I can get to a promise for a lot of people.
Walk me through the science of it and how did you discover the science of this process?
Yeah. So in my 2 books, so Buy Yourself the Fucking Lilies and Glow in the Fucking Dark, a major component of it is journaling. Like accidentally, I mean, someone suggested that I start journaling, and I suggested they get lost. Like, this was the worst idea I'd ever heard. A super.
That was me when people would be like, try intuitive eating. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
You're like, you try going to the other room because I do not want to see you right now.
Honestly, I was like, try walking into traffic.
No, totally. Like, my best friend at the time, very privileged upbringing, great life, blah, blah, blah. I'm like sobbing into a goblet of red wine about how bad my life is. And she's like, why don't you try journaling? I'm like, why don't you, please leave.
Yeah.
Like, no.
You're ruining my life.
But I want it so I can be, as I told you, extremely petty. And so I was like, okay. You want me to journal? I'll do it to prove that you don't know anything, that your life has been so amazing that something as stupid and foolish as journaling will work for you. Like, I'm going to prove a point that my life is worse than your life. Cool. That's what friendship is all about. So I started journaling just to spite her. And basically in 1 week, I was already feeling calmer and better about my life. And so journaling just became this huge part of my life. And now, so I've been journaling for 15 years, 3 pages a day. I very rarely miss it, not because I'm a saint or disciplined, but because it feels really good. Like, I actually enjoy it, and I'm a hedonist. So that's why. Now I've really looked into the research, and I include a lot of it in this Journal Fucking Works because I want people to really understand that it is a very validated tool. So there's a 2022 meta-analysis of tons of studies on journaling. So they take all these big studies and they see, what are the big themes we can see. And what they found was that journaling significantly improved mental health, particularly in anxiety and PTSD. Now, how many things do we have at our disposal that significantly help with anxiety and PTSD that are basically free? Not many. So I actually kind of have a conspiracy theory about all this. I don't have many, but this is like my one conspiracy theory. Let me add this to the scroll. I think the reason that journaling isn't suggested as a first line of defense for many mental health issues is that no one can really make money off of it. It's not pills. And by the way, no shade to pills. I said it myself. I'm on Wellbutrin. It's not a therapy. No shade to therapists. They're very, very helpful. But there's not some ongoing money maker to you with a pen and some paper, right? So no one's incentivized to get you to journal. But the science is pretty clear that at a maximum, it can have incredible benefits for your mental health, for goal setting, for a gratitude practice is a form of journaling. Incredibly good for you. One of the absolute best things you could do. The negatives of journaling, there really aren't any, right? Some people can land on rumination, right? And some people, if you're writing about a very traumatic experience, you can maybe activate and not heal. Like you could be ruminating it. That's not helpful. But the downside is like so little in comparison to the upside. So that's why I just want to scream from the rooftops, like, please, everybody, just try, just give it a try,
just
folks.
For me. Yeah, just do a few pages a day. I really loved when you brought in the reference related to your leaving your relationship, that abusive relationship, with journaling, and I kind of want to double click on that and that process and that relationship, and because I do this with my clients a lot of times too, and women that I work with, where when you're in a relationship that's like that, what often will happen is the cycle where it gets really bad and then there's relief.
Yeah.
It gets really bad and then there's some type of relief. And I think journaling is so key because you see the truth.
Yes.
And you're able to track it.
Yes.
So walk me through how that abusive relationship and your process with leaving and healing that.
Yeah. And I completely agree. So I was dating a literal rocket scientist, which played to all my ego stuff of look at my fancy boyfriend. He chose me. I must be special. I must be amazing. And there was a lot of me forcing myself to be littler and littler and littler because he screamed at me, mostly like insults, like, you're such a slut, you're cheating on me, all these things that I couldn't have been more in love with him. So it was like kind of crazy. But I started to live in this like constant fear of being screamed at having a door slammed. And it made me smaller and smaller and smaller. And in my journal, I watched this progression of, I forget the fake name I give him in Lily's.
Richard.
Yeah, let's just go with Richard. Good
Richard.
old Richard.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't want to say his name.
Yeah, of course not.
So Richard, although that's a fake name I give for my dad in
Stop.
Lily's. who never screamed at me. So just to be clear. So I'm gonna call him
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Okay, so Jeremy,
Okay.
I would write these posts. I would write these journal entries
in my Zanga. You were like, I would post to X.
I would post to X. So
You're like yelled at me again last night. Skirt was too short.
Oops.
Maybe I am a slut.
Yeah. But I would write like, I love Jeremy. He's so amazing. We laugh so much, except he made me leave this. This is a real thing that happened. We're at this party for the Daily Show. I'm getting my foot in the door at Comedy Central. I'm super young. I just want to go network and meet people. We get into this fight. He starts screaming at me in front of the executive producers. He's my guest, screaming at me to the point where I just kind of walk away. Like, I leave the party because I just don't want to be screamed at. Then he follows me to scream at me some more. I write down this in my journal. The next week, if I look back at my journal and remember, wait a minute. Yes, he just bought me this cashmere sweater. Yes, he just took me to his family's country house. All these like things I think I want in a relationship. But this dude screamed me out of a party. It is a lot harder to lie to yourself when you're writing it down. And it took me longer than I might have liked it to take me to get out of that relationship. But I do credit the journaling because I had to face myself. I had to face, oh no, this is reality. You literally wrote it down. Now the choice is, do you respect yourself enough to leave? And honestly, at the beginning, I did not. There's been this big Vogue article about boyfriends are embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I think it's funny. I think it's clickbaity. Mm-hmm. I love the writer. She also made some like very funny videos online about it. Genius. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really misguided. That it is not embarrassing even a little bit to want love, connection, companionship. And that actually, instead of quitting dating, we need to demand more. We need to demand more of our partners. We need to stop accepting so little. Like the amount of people I hear who think it's all their fault, they'll settle for anything. Like, I'm sure you have this with clients. You hear about women who they're pretzeling themselves into something because they just want to be chosen. Meanwhile, if they choose that guy who's not treating them well, they're actually saying no to an entire other universe of men. And I'm frustrated that there's this narrative that all the good guys are gone. You can't find a good guy. That is A, not helpful, but B, not true. And so this whole having a boyfriend thing is embarrassing, I think is just clickbaity, great, good for her. And I kind of couldn't disagree more than I do.
Yeah, I saw it. My boyfriend actually sent it to me and we were talking about it. And I think what I also feel a lot of times too is compassion for men. Mm-hmm. Compassion for men and being in a position where they are rejected or they are like talked down upon or, spoken to in a way where we don't need them, we don't want them, all this stuff. And I think in my truth, what I will say is that I think if those women that are saying that they, in the comments or whatever, they're like, yeah, boyfriends are embarrassing, in the deepest truth of their heart, would love to be loved.
Yeah.
Would love to be in a relationship where they felt fully seen and held and heard. And I think that's what I just come to where I'm like, yes, of course, if you're struggling in dating, I'm not saying it's a cakewalk. Yeah. God got me to be divorced so that I could try modern dating. And I had my own journey with it. So I fully was humbled in the process. But it's like, I think that because women are getting so powerful and even more educated and even having more access to resources and creating a bigger gap between, ourselves and men, doesn't mean that it needs to be embarrassing to want and desire love.
Yeah. I mean, just to like highlight what you just said, the thing that struck me about the article was that it just rang as so untrue. I don't know literally one woman who wouldn't want to be authentically loved.
Totally.
Because that is like the core, the thing that humans have that we don't know. Maybe other animals do have it, but we know this about us. We can love. And we know that love, or I know that love is the most beautiful, sacred thing I cherish above all else is love. And I just find it very hard to believe that the people in the article don't also want authentic love. Now, how we get it, what we do with it, totally different set of questions. But it just didn't ring me as something like as true.
Yeah. Like a lot of the women in the comments that I saw were like, I'm whatever age and I'm single and I'm happy. I'd rather have my peace than whatever. And I'm like, yeah, girl, 100%. Like, completely agree with that sentiment and statement. I think there was one reel that I saw of a woman that was really struck me, and I thought it was really beautiful because she's like, the problem that I have with this is that I did that for so long, and now I'm 36 and I'm with or 37 and I'm with my man. And because I was doing all of that, like, it's embarrassing. I need to get my bag. I need to be successful. I waited so long where now my window is so much shorter. And now I'm having to like have children in a shorter amount of time. And I'm just like, she's like, I just bought into the narrative too long. And I'm not saying that you need to be a certain age to get pregnant or not. I'm older. So I'm obviously on my own journey with that. But it's like, I think what struck me was that if we're fed a narrative that we don't need men or we don't need relationships or we don't need boyfriends, but eventually you will finally come to your knees in the truth and of the truth of your desire of wanting love or wanting relationship, it might be at a point where you're potentially further down the line where family or children is harder if that is your heart's desire. And I think for a lot of women, that is their heart's desire, and I was just kind of reflecting when you were speaking too about, I was listening to someone talk about power and talking about discrepancies of power and how unfortunately the people that have less power often have to make the shift because people in power have no incentive to change. And I was thinking about how now women almost have the power. And it's like, what are we going to do with it? Women are now more educated, have more, money, are like emotionally more intelligent and all these things. And I'm not saying that men don't have power in the world for sure. But if we do become the more powerful, like what was going to happen and how are we going to treat people and how are we going to treat men and all of that. And I don't know if that is like the kindest way to start this off, if that's true.
Yeah, I totally hear that. And I also kind of feel like my take is we need to like block out all the noise about, okay, now second conspiracy theory of the day.
The earth flat.
The earth is flat. So many dating and relationship experts on Instagram or whatever.
Don't even get me started.
Their only incentive
rolling up my sleeves
is for you to be single. Because then they can sell you coaching programs and tell you what's wrong with you and all these problems. And so my advice to people is like, literally listen to no one. Block everything out and start journaling about what do you actually want. And here's really important, what do you value in a partner? Then go look for that. And what I mean by value is not how much does he make, how tall is he, what's his job. Okay, I was single or like on and off single for like 15 years or something. And only very recently found somebody who I'm like, if he's listening, I think you're the one. But I'm super, super happy with him. And the whole thing that changed for me was I got really serious about what are the 4 non-negotiables that my partner must have, just 4. And they were, I want him to be super interesting so I can have conversations with him forever. I want him to have a great sense of humor because I can really slide towards doom, y'all. So like he needs to lift me up some of the time. He needed to be kind to me, kind to other people. And there had to be some kind of attraction, something that kept me curious about him. And what I said to myself is, it's not too much to ask for 4 things. Not asking for 20, I'm asking for 4. And anybody who doesn't have these 4 things, they might be amazing. They might be, a soccer player or whatever. I don't even care about sports. I don't even know why I said that. Whatever. Whatever the thing is, right? But they have to have these 4. So I was able to really quickly, like I would met a guy, super cute, all these things. He wasn't that interesting. Cool. Great for you. I need to move on now. I'm not spending one more day here. And when you have such a clear filter, it just makes life a lot easier. So my thing is like tune out. Like I think men and women are in crises of different crises.
That's a good point.
And I love Scott Galloway. I think talks really well. Like I think he's an incredible thinker about how men in particular are in crisis or they're having their own crisis right now. Agree. And for my own personal dating life, I just tuned out everything except what are the things like very specifically, and I journaled about this all the time, that I'm looking for. And then if the guy doesn't have it, I must cut out now. That's not mean to him. That's nothing. There's nothing wrong with him. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just looking for something specific. And that fast-tracked everything and I was told by a very famous dating coach that time was ticking. She literally went on her like watch and did this, the motion of time is ticking. You're getting older. There are going to be less options, which only made me feel desperate and fearful. Those are like, do you make any good choices from a place of scarcity? And I so many people told me that, like, you got to like just basically settle. No. Just get really specific about what you're looking for and then go out as much as you possibly can, but not on the dating apps. And that was my maybe multi-minute rant.
Love it.
On what is wrong with dating.
And how to think about dating.
Yeah.
I think I love the sentiment about not listening to any dating advice. That is my whole thing about my whole thing. I enjoyed my dating process because I did not listen. You would think I just got out of a divorce. I've never dated in my whole life because I was in relationship after relationship. You would think that I would need to listen to advice, to follow people. How does dating work? No. I don't need some random in their car telling me about how dating works.
No.
I don't need some random's opinion about there's no good men. I'm like, no, that's not my reality. That's not my truth. I do not consent to taking on the common belief of all of these things that dating is trash and all these things. Like, no, that's not my reality. That's not the reality I want to live in. So I didn't. And I think what also I'm realizing when you were talking in this and kind of relates back to the article was I dated, I enjoyed it, and I found my man when I finally landed in the truth of my desire to find my person. And the entire time dating, I had been, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. I just want to do my thing. Never once did I honor the truth of my desire of my heart. And when I finally was like, I don't care if I look stupid, I seem cringe, I seem desperate, or I'm embarrassing. I want love and I want to find my person. And when I finally owned that truth and no longer acted and played around like, oh yeah, I love dating. I'm just seeing what's out there. I'm just like doing my thing. And there was a phase for that when I finally was like, I want love.
Beautiful.
And I want a partner. And I want to be a mom. And I want to be a wife was when I found my man. And I think the quicker we can honor the truth of our desire in our hearts, the more quickly it'll come.
Oh, yes. Amen. Yes. It's like, what is the truth?
What is the truth?
And then whatever the truth is, go after that, not what you want the truth to be, what you think the truth should be, what other people are telling you the truth. Like, we're all so individual. We're all on such individual journeys, right? Like, the quicker we can get on board with who am I actually? What do I actually want? What can I actually contribute? Me specifically. The sooner we can start getting the things we want. And to bring it back to journaling a little, like, this is why I say so many of us feel like we are cut off from our intuition, we do not understand our gut, and that we can't trust ourselves. But we haven't done the bare minimum, which is to listen to ourselves. And so journaling just gives you an immediate way to get back to the source, to see, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? And honestly, to hold yourself to account a little bit. Because if I read in my journal for 6 months, I'm with this abusive guy, he is doing this to me, and this might be controversial, but that then is my responsibility. That's on me. So I've now stayed. Like, it's not on me that he's treating me that way, but what is on me is that I have decided to stay here for this long. And once you realize, wait a minute, I have agency, I have power, and there are lots of different situations, and I can totally understand, feel compassion for people who are in situations where they can't get out. I was in a situation where I could get out. If you are in a situation where you can get out, journaling really helps you see that, helps you build a plan, helps you see that it's necessary. It is a free, easy solution to get back to yourself.
Because we can gaslight ourselves.
Oh my God.
This is the whole thing. As I was like, that's why I love journaling. And also I love the work that I do as a coach, because it's like, I'm with you. So
Yes.
I heard you 2 months ago saying something, and I hear you today saying something, and you've been saying something. And now I'm here to tell you and reflect back to you. And the journal's like that. It's like every single day, just seeing the truth of how you feel, the truth of yourself. I was even reflecting today, every year, when in my journaling practice, every year, my New Year's resolution would begin with lose X amount of weight. Every single year, the first resolution I had, lose 15 pounds, 20 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever, no matter what. And it would be like, there had to be a moment where I would just look and I'd be like, oh, I'm unconsciously doing that thing again. And I could just see the truth of like the fact that this was carrying and with me repeatedly my whole life. And I'm like, your soul mission and your dreams for this year, that's your first dream? Lose 10 pounds? Come on. Like, I just was like, whoa, we have to change this. So I really love that you're bringing this through. And I know in your journal too, there's like specifics and there's kind of creative ways with things. So walk us through kind of how this brings them through things in a different way, because I know people have access to journals and stuff, but like, what were some other interesting things you brought through?
Yeah. So my journal is sort of the first of its kind because it brings together tons of research from positive psychology, neuroscience, journaling, particularly a technique called expressive writing. And I have a journaling club that I worked out a lot of these things with. And I've journaled for 15 years. So this is like, took me way too long to create this journal. And I think why it can be really helpful to people in particular, I did a lot of research on rituals. And there's a great research scientist named Michael Norton. He wrote a great book called The Ritual Effect. And basically his thesis is we are starving for rituals. You know, it used to be even like, I don't know if you remember this, but like, I don't know when it even was on, but Mad Men, for example. My friends would come over, we'd watch the premiere, we'd talk about it every week. Now, my friends are watching like 15 different things. Not all of them are TV shows. Like, we can't get on the same page about anything. There's no like communal thing for us to discuss. So, you know, you think about way back in the day, there'd be rituals around the harvest, rituals around the moon. There were rituals that maybe we didn't need, like witch burning. Like, totally could have skipped that one.
So true.
Not necessary,
So
right?
true.
So like, bless, goodbye.
Yes.
Actually, don't bless.
Yeah.
I take back my blessing.
Yeah,
And witch burning.
honest.
That was not necessary.
That was the Holy Spirit.
But like, we used to have rituals, and rituals make us pause, remember that we're alive, that life is not just a list of to-dos, right? That there's something emotional and beautiful about being here. And so journaling, I think people think about like, it needs to be a habit. But a habit is like an if-then statement. If in a car, then I put on my seatbelt. If in the bathroom, then I wash my hands. There's no joy, delight, emotion. It's just get her done. A ritual, however, if you bring a ritual into your journaling practice, like, so for example, how I journal right now is I just moved in with my boyfriend, and our little house has a little fireplace. I get by the fireplace. I have a witchy brew of like coffee with homemade cashew milk and like a little bit of ashwagandha, which I don't know what it is, but it sounds magical, you know, and I like stir it up, and then I go to the fireplace. I have a little sheepskin thing, and I journal for 3 pages. It is the most delightful part of my day. Every day starts that way. So I have consistency and stability. Every single day, I know I'm going to have at least 20 minutes I enjoy. 20 minutes without anybody bothering me. And I do this first thing right before you're getting emails, before your boss is calling, all that kind of stuff. But it gives you a sense that your life is worth living, that there's a reason to pause, that you shouldn't just like keep going. So I think the first thing that I kind of realized is if you can make journaling into a delightful ritual for you and design your delight, you will have one thing you are obsessed with every single day. That's the very first thing that I saw like really helps people.
I also love the recommendation you had too, and I tell some of my clients this, that if they don't have to want to journal to get the benefits, you say that voice memoing works.
Absolutely.
Which I think is great. I think it's interesting for some clients. I have one of my clients that has really bad ADHD, so for her, voice memoing is actually more help. Like it kind of, it's just a lesser barrier. And for some clients, it actually works better to have them move energy through their throat.
Totally.
But tell me about how voice memoing can help too.
So the bulk of the research is on writing. So I do want to say that. But there is more and more emerging evidence that if you were to do the exact same thing into a voice memo, so that's either like just rant about your day or answer a prompt, whatever it is, that it has a very similar effect. So if you were to every morning just go for a walk and feel the sun on your face, record into a voice memo how you're feeling, that could give you a similar benefit to journaling.
I love that. I think, it's like more accessible sometimes. You can even convert it to, you can even voice to text.
Oh, totally.
And like clean it up if that helps people.
And I would say journaling is not writing. This is key. Journaling is not writing. Your grammar, spelling, how your handwriting looks. The only reason it would matter how your handwriting looks is if you're going to look back. But otherwise, it really doesn't matter. Journaling is like soul dumping. It's just getting what's inside, outside onto the page where you can deal with it more safely. Because one of the chief benefits that I have seen from journaling, and which the research backs up, is if we deal with like our petty, sad, right? Many of us are on a roller coaster of emotions. I myself am. But if I can contain it on the page for the rest of the day, I am a more pleasant person to be around. Straight up. I'm less likely to snap at people. I'm less likely to complain to people. Like I've got a place that's just for me, safe for me, where I can vent, dream, just do all of this stuff in a safe container that is free, highly portable, and that I can do every single day.
And if we were to go back to parts, you're also letting parts of you be seen and heard.
Yes.
That will sometimes be trying to get your attention all day. So journaling's beautiful because you call on your soul or yourself and you're like, okay, we're present here. What's also present here? Right. Which part of me is desiring to be seen? Maybe it's just soul. Maybe she's like, hey girl, you got it. You're rocking it. Love you. Maybe there's a part of you that's like, I'm terrified right now. I don't know about these things. And when you give spaciousness to these parts, you're able to move through your day so much more peacefully with less anxiety, because otherwise the parts are kind of trying to get your attention.
Yes.
And trying to, get either unconsciously or subconsciously or consciously just trying to be heard. And so you're really giving space for that. And you're really doing this act of self-love and self-reverence. And it also creates this space. And I always tell my clients this, and sometimes it's hard to understand until you've done it. But it's like, I always say that like you should have safety within yourself to say whatever you want to say. So as an example, we're talking again about the IFS retreat. I actually didn't have safety within myself because the parts of me that were judging, they should feel safe to judge. I don't want to judge them for judging.
Right.
What was happening is called polarization in IFS. I was judging other people and then I'm judging myself for judging. So I'm creating this system where I have a judger and then I have a judger who's judging. In a better space, we have, the judger's judging. It's okay for you to judge. Tell me more about your judgment.
Yes.
I'm here to listen. I'm here to learn. And really getting to know, love, and honor that part. Obviously, it's not my preference to judge, but when we soften and we listen and we hear those parts through journaling or the voice memos, you're really just like softening it all and can allow for transformation, which is so beautiful.
Yes. And if I can throw some science into that, that just backs you up. So I have one of the techniques in my journal is affect labeling, which is, if you've ever heard of an emotion wheel, there is a ton.
Had to use one in therapy with an ex. It's all
right? There is a ton.
He was mad.
Well, that's exactly the thing though, right? Like, so I found out about an emotion wheel because I was feeling 10 out of 10 anxious, like constantly anxious, to the point where my friends were like, you need to go see a psychiatrist. Went to the psychiatrist, told her, my life is great. I'm a writer, dream job, great boyfriend. Well, he's okay. Well, I don't know. Well, he's constantly lying to me, and that's making me feel really off kilter all the time. She was like, tell me more. I was like, well, it's like these little things. Like, he'll say he bought a house. Like, we'll meet some people and he's like, come to my house. I just bought it. It's in Silver Lake. And I'm like, but I know he rented it. Like, little thing, but it's a lie. Then this other time, he told me that the reason one of my books was doing so well was that he contacted every single independent bookstore in America and ordered 2 copies of my book. And I thought, well, that's nice if true. But then I asked him, hey, that list of every independent bookstore in America, as an author, it would be very valuable. Can I have it? He's like, well, my assistant, it's on the laptop, it's in Chicago, it's in couldn't give me a straight answer. He also told me that he was the son of a oil robber baron magnate from, I can't even believe, from the Midwest. That his family, is like one of these old American,
totally.
Whatever families.
They're like, you don't know what it's like to grow up as an aristocrat. He's like, I've got these big expectations on me.
Big expectations on me.
People love that like fantasy.
Meanwhile, one day I get a phone call from him being like, hey, babe, I need to borrow $1,300 to get my car towed from Barstow to Los Angeles. I'm like, A, why are you in Barstow? B, wait. You are a robber baron, oil magnate, heir, millionaire. I am a author. You need to borrow $1,300 from me? Like, are you? Of course, I Venmo'd him. He did later pay me back.
Good for him.
But I'm like,
it's tied up in the market.
That's
the other thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all in the markets, babe.
It's tied up. It's tied
none
up.
None of it's liquid.
I'm going to get penalized if I take it out of my trust.
Yeah. Exactly. Like some whole story like that. So I'm telling the psychiatrist this, and I'm telling her, and I'm like, and so I'm just so anxious. And she looked me dead in the eye and she said, I don't think you're anxious. I think you're furious. And I was like mind blown. Oh my God, I'm not anxious. I'm furious. I'm furious at being lied to. I'm so angry that I'm being treated this way. And once I could identify I'm angry, I'm furious, I could do differently, which is not just to let this all roll off my back, but which is to break up with this con artist that I am now dating.
Wow.
So affect labeling, this idea of simply writing down how you're feeling, like to use your IFS, like the part of you that's feeling judgmental, but then mad at yourself for feeling judgmental. The science backs up that if you were simply to write out those feelings, you would begin to feel better because it brings down the response of the amygdala. That's like our fear processing center. It emotionally regulates you. It physically regulates you. So in the journal, I made, after consulting with tons of people in different emotion wheels, I made my own emotion wheel. But if anyone just wants to get started now, just Google emotion wheel. It gives you great vocab because I'll speak for myself, the only words I had to describe the miracle of being human for time were good, bad, sad, tired, busy. Mm-hmm. Busy is not an emotion.
Mm-hmm. Dude. Every single person. How are you busy?
How are you? Busy. So busy.
Busy or tired?
Busy, tired.
Everyone's tired.
And it's like, so we need, most of us just don't even have the vocab. So an emotion wheel gives us that vocabulary. And then when we write it down in a journal, hugely beneficial, even in the moment. So if we're looking for a quick fix, how do I feel better right now? I'm super anxious about my job or angry about this or sad, whatever it is. Emotion wheel, simply write out how you feel.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great tragedies is that a lot of people don't have access or vocabulary to emotions. They don't have even the turnaround, you're having the experience and then a part of you can turn around and say, wait, how am I feeling?
Totally.
I think that's a gift of being a woman, is we have like so much access to emotion. So much access to vocabulary.
Yeah.
You know?
And yet we could get better. Like I really didn't know the difference between anxiety and anger because I never had felt angry before.
Wow.
Like I had suppressed, and this is a lot about my childhood. Like I couldn't feel angry because I had to survive. So I just had to accept how I was treated. So I've just been learning how to feel angry. And when I can really use that vocabulary, my main point is it gives you more agency to do differently. Right? It just opens up your options so you aren't constantly reactive.
What's been something that's come through in your journal recently that you were surprised by?
How much I've accomplished, which sounds like
I'm obsessed with that.
Wild, but I am so down on my, this from our bus talk. I think I'm the least successful, most failure, nothing works. Why am I so bad? If I was better, I'd be doing more. I've squandered every opportunity that's ever been given to me. Why am I so irresponsible? If only I were more responsible. That is really my state of mind most of the time. But this morning I was actually journaling. It's this technique called Spot the Win. And it was created by, I don't want to butcher her name, but Rachel Turrow, I believe, in her book, The Self-Talk Workout, where in order to get in touch with your self-compassion, you just spot your little wins. And they could be really little, like ate a handful of walnuts instead of Cheez-Its when in the airport.
Right.
Which, by the way, isn't even me. That's aspirational me because I ate the Cheez-Its. This was yesterday.
So
They're so good.
Cheez-Its and Diet Coke was like my high school. I was like, dude, the salty, the cheesy, the little crisp Diet Coke.
Perfect.
Yeah. They're like a little oily. They're so good.
They're engineered.
They're kind of
to
like
be so good.
Gourmet.
In a sense.
Sometimes they're toasted a little bit more than the other ones. Like they're amazing.
The color.
The color.
All of it.
That neon cheese color.
Yeah. But like you could write down just the simplest things. And so yesterday I was writing down, I've been on the road for 3 weeks, going to all these things. And I wrote down, I had this meeting and then I did this. And I actually just tallied and I was nice to my boyfriend. Like I never even had one meltdown at him and I am prone to meltdowns. And I could just look at this list and be like, I'm doing so much better than the story I constantly tell in my mind. And so spotting the win, it brings us back to self-compassion. But more than anything, it brings us back to reality, which is most of us are doing so much better in the real world than we are doing in our minds.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that. I was with friends recently and I was like, we need to, before talking about anything for, the next month's goals, like just celebrate what we've been doing. And
yes,
there are so many wins. I think what I'll also do, besides having friends help reflect back to me, is I'll look at my photos on my phone and I'll look at like photos from the months before. And it really helps me to see like, oh, I went on this trip and I did this, or like I was with this person. I'm grateful for that relationship, or, I was spent time in this way, and it just helps me to see. But I think if women could do one thing better, it would be to celebrate their wins.
Absolutely.
And celebrate themselves.
I feel like people feel like it's cringe.
Honestly, I said that. I was like, oh.
But can I bring in science?
Please.
The science here.
Save me.
Okay, I'm going to save you with science. The science here, the research says that people who have self-compassion are more resilient, achieve their goals more easily. They're in it for the long term. If beating yourself up worked, I would be going to that as my chief mechanism. But the science doesn't back it up. Needless self-criticism, constantly grinding on yourself, it just makes you smaller. And in my experience, less able to see possibility. When you're so focused on what you're doing wrong, you can't even see, wow, I could collaborate with that person, or wow, there's an opportunity over here, because you're like myopic and only focused on the very, very negative. And so to anyone who thinks that celebrating your wins is cheesy and cringe, I would say, no, it's actually just difficult. The very, very easy thing to do that we're all pretty well trained to do is to break ourselves down in a misguided notion that will somehow build ourselves up. Unfortunately, the science says absolutely not. That's just a recipe for burnout. So if you could just start to celebrate yourself small. I got out of bed today. Well, if you've read the news lately, getting out of bed is a really big deal. Like, good on you. I drank 3 Swell water bottles. Well, given how I grew up and not even knowing water was a thing, that's a pretty big win. Like, start small And I think when we catch ourselves feeling cringy about celebrating ourselves, ask, where's this story coming from? Who has pressured me to think that it's weird to like feel a little proud of myself? Like I'd never be down on a friend for doing well. I'd be like, yeah, girl, get it, right? Treat yourself like if you have to trick yourself, treat yourself like your own best friend.
And it creates positive momentum.
Yes.
You know, it's like with the reticular activating system, you see more positive things. Like it's beautiful that the science is now matching it now. I've had the best time.
This has been so fun.
So fun. I was like, we need our show. We need our own show. Your books. Can you just give like a sentence or two about each book? Because I think people will be interested in all of them. So if the women want to read each of them, like what would you say? Who is the first book for? Who is the second book for? Journaling book, who is that for?
Yeah. So Buy Yourself the Fucking Lilies I think I'd recommend that book probably as a place to start. It's all about how do you build small rituals into your life, but it's a memoir. So I actually tell you a lot of stories and then I give you takeaways, but it isn't like super prescriptive. And I think it's pretty funny. So that's Buy Yourself the Fucking Lilies. And especially anybody who's like, oh my God, I've been through this shit. Now what? Glow in the Fucking Dark is I was laid off from my fancy job at Comedy Central. So this is for anybody in their career who is now like, oh man, I need to pivot or my job is my sense of self. If you feel that way, then that book is for you and can show you how to get more in touch with, who are you really and what do you really want? And then the journal, so this journal fucking works, the science, ritual, and art of journaling is for everybody. For anybody who's just interested in journaling, I give you great techniques, really excellent prompts. And again, I try to make it comedic so that like it isn't just, I don't want you to gouge your eyes out. Like, I want you to like laugh and I want journaling to be enjoyable. So that book's for anybody who just has even thought one time, maybe journaling will help. Maybe it will.
I'm so excited. Well, I love you. Thanks for coming in. I'm excited about this. I'm going to get my own book, and I think you guys should send this one to a friend. That's my suggestion for y'all. So you can start a conversation about this, start journaling together, and we'll see you on the next one. Love ya. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me and Tara in this beautiful interview. Again, the book is This Journal Fucking Works, and it is out now. You can search her to find any more of her works. She used to be an executive at Comedy Central and really just figured out how to support herself and her life with all of the tools that she uses. I love you very much. Lindsay and I both do. And if you want more from Almost 30, Instagram is a great place to go. Almost 30 podcast on Instagram. We also have our YouTube, which we're spending a lot more time on this year. So our YouTube, you can come see our faces. We have TikTok available. It has every single clip from the show. So when we have our Instagram, we kind of curate it, but TikTok has so many inspiring and off the cuff clips that we want you guys to listen to. And we have our second show, Morning Microdose, which is a daily dose of Almost 30. It's like the greatest hits. It's available for you to provide inspiration for every single day. Again, my name is Krista Williams, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.